It's that time again. He said, what time are you going to be there? I said, I don't know. He said, roughly. I said, I don't know. Oh, hi, Bobby here. Following on from last week's lesson in which we extended the range of the minor pentatonic scale, we're now going to go down low and play some licks with open strings. Before we start, remember to pick up my free blues rock phrasing course. You'll find a link in the description below. Hit like and subscribe and stick around for the bonus lick at the end of the video. So if you've been following this series so far, you'll know that with our backing track, the underlying chord is an E minor 7, or a simple E minor will do. So just to give you a quick recap of everything we've looked at so far, in lesson 1, we learned to solo using just 4 notes and a bend, making 5. That gives us the full range of the E minor pentatonic scale. We've got the notes of D, E, G, A, and the bend being B, or the flat 7, the root, the flat 3, the perfect 4th, and the perfect 5th. And we looked at some phrasing exercises where we could use our internal rhythms to create some interesting and musical phrasing for soloing. We then looked at a scale shortcut, if you like, known as the frying pan. And we looked at that in 3 octaves. We then looked at combining position 1 of the E minor pentatonic scale in with the frying pan to create some interesting licks. Now we're going to leave this area of the neck. We'll come back to that later. We're going to look at the open strings. So this will be position 1 of the E minor pentatonic scale. With the open strings. And we're going to be kind of dovetailing into position 2 a little bit as well. Show us some licks then. So a cool thing to do when playing around with the E minor pentatonic box, position 1, with open strings, is a cool kind of Hendrix/Stevie Ray Vaughan trill. So all I'm doing, I'm playing the open D string and I'm using my second finger to trill back and forth between the flat 7, which is the D note, and the root, which is the E note. That's something I like to do. I like to go to that G note, which is the flat 3, and bend it ever so slightly sharp behind the nut, and then cut it off. It gives it that kind of blue note. Over a minor chord, you don't want to bend it as far as a G sharp. It's just a very kind of microtonal bend. You want to bend it slightly sharp and then just cut it off. How about some double stops? Something like that. I'm going, sliding from the 2nd fret on the G string up to the 4th fret, and then I'm catching the 3rd fret on the B, and I'm doing a rake. I'm incorporating the open E string, raking everything down to the 2nd fret, kind of grace note down to the 2nd fret on the G, open G, 2nd fret on the D, maybe pull off to open D string, back to 2nd fret on the D. From there, maybe you could go something like that for some of the lower strings. So that's 2 on the D string, open D, 2 on the A and open A, kind of triplet feel, 1, and then that's 3 on the low E string, tease that slightly sharp, and then hit your open E. Give it a little some open strings on the end there, you know, if you hit the open B and the high E strings, kind of gives you an E5 power chord, no third in it, so you can play that over dominant chords or you can play it over minor 7 chords, minor chords. How about this? Really kind of Hendrix-y, sort of voodoo child. This bend is quite difficult actually. On the 2nd fret on the G string, we're bending up a whole step. And then we're just kind of hitting the pick and letting it rest against the string. It's almost, some people call this chicken picking. It's not chicken picking, but I'm kind of hitting the string and letting the pick kind of mute the string. And just letting the note descend, you know. It's kind of like a Joe Walsh thing. You can even hit some pinch harmonics on the way down. And at the end there I played 2 to open on the G, and then 2 on the D, open, and then back to 2. How about this one? So what that is, it's a real kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan inspired idea. I'm playing the open B string, hammering onto the third fret, and then hitting open E, and then doing this grace note slide from 3 to 5 on the B string, but hitting the open E. So when we get there, we get 2 occurrences of the E note. So let's hear what some of those licks sound like in the context of a solo. So as you can see, in just 5 lessons, we've gone from soloing with just a few notes to really extending the range of the fretboard, all within the confines of the E minor pentatonic scale. And if you take some of the phrasing ideas that we looked at in lesson 2, you should already be on your way to developing quite a fluid vocabulary on the guitar.
You promised us a bonus lick.
So if you pick 3 on the high E string, tease that slightly sharp because it's a flat 3, it's a blue note, and then open E, 3 on the B string, and then pull off to open. And you could just resolve it to the root note there on the 5th fret on the B string. You even get the open high E in there if you like. But you can really play with a rhythm. You could kind of start out 1, 2, 3, 4. There's something about those open strings that make everything sound really rootsy and gutsy and dopey and sleepy and grumpy and bashful. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it, Bouncer? Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out one of these videos for more content. Bye.